If you don't know about Grimes County, the Grimes County boom, even though SpaceX TerraFab is already talking about coming here and planting here, you still need to know about some of the gems that Grimes County already have. So right now, we're going to be highlighting one of many of the homes here in the Pecan Grove neighborhood. Now, this neighborhood has a golf course community that has been voted one of the top 5 best kept secrets in the state of Texas. You have great access to Highway 6 if you need to go to Austin, if you need to go to Houston, or if you need to go to our Bryan-College Station area. So if you're that person that's relocating here to the Grimes County, Bryan-College Station area, and you need to make sure you see everything I have to say at the end. And then I'll tell you what to expect about SpaceX and some of the things that you can expect when you have someone who's building over $1 billion factory here in the Grimes County. All right, so let's check out this community and we'll go from there. So let's talk about Grimes County and specifically Pleasant Grove. So Pleasant Grove is the majority. You have new construction homes, and we're going to take a look at one today. This city itself is underneath about 10,000 people. So this is located to the nearest metroplex area of Bryan-College Station, where your Texas A&M Aggies do play. So Navasota and Grimes County is have a small hub downtown. You can kind of be able to see that from what you search online. But the cool thing I like about this area is it's pretty quiet. Now you're going to have houses that's going to range anywhere from 236 up to maybe 320, and you'll find homes low 1,400 up to about 2,600 square feet in this neighborhood. That's a beautiful start, and really when you are someone even as close as Austin, you realize that, man, I can get a lot more home in a quieter community in this Grimes County area. All right, so in today's video, we're going to talk about one of the builders, Stylecraft. Now Stylecraft is a local builder, and they've done a good job at having a local presence all throughout the Bryan-College Station area and Grimes County as well. So we're going to take a look at one of their popular floor plan. It's called a 1818 plan. Now the cool thing about the 1818 plan is the square footage is in the name of the model. So it's the 1818 plan, meaning the square feet is 1818. Now we'll look at a 1,400 square foot house and an 1,800 square foot house, and you'll be able to compare what do you like about the open floor plans, what are the things you may like about it, and also keep in mind of this. If you're looking to move within the next 3 days, 3 months, even 6 months, even 9 months, make sure you do reach out. My job is to be able to educate you about the Bryan-College Station area and the Grimes County boom so that you can be aware of everything to expect when you come into this area. Now, before we get in, just think about if you're someone who loves golfing, this neighborhood is going to give you not only the opportunity, but you'll get a chance to be able to see the good country Texas living. So let's go ahead and take a look at this house, and we'll talk at the end as we look at the second home and see what you think about Grimes County. And then I would love to hear your comments at the below, see what more you want to see. All right, let's go take a look. All right, so we're going to take a look at this 1818 plan, and a cool thing to think of is this: if you're even coming from as close as Austin or Houston, maybe even Austin because of the recent uphill prices that they've gotten since a lot of the movement has went there, this home we're going to look at is going to be well underneath that 320 price point, and it's over 1,800 square feet. Let's go take a look at it. I think you're really going to like it. One cool thing I like about this is you have this porch area. You know, in Texas we do love our porches, and so you can think of like, hey, I want to sit on my porch, I want to hang out, I want to maybe get my favorite rocking chair from Cracker Barrel and, hey, sit on the porch. So we love our Texas heat. So let's go take a look at this house. Now the beautiful thing I like about this is if you are someone, you can see now this is the design studio. So if you are someone who are in that custom build, they do a good job of being able to give you some options to be able to pick, you know, different countertops, and you can kind of see the color. Now, granted, they do have, I would say, semi-custom, which means that you can't 100% customize at that price point, but you can be able to make a few selections depending on when you find the actual home in the building process. So that's why I always say reach out to us so that depending on where you're at, we can talk through your scenario and go from there. Now, the beautiful thing I like about this is, now, this will be, before I go to the kitchen, this would generally be our garage. So right now it's 2 office spaces, so you really won't have that set up because you're gonna have your garage there. And from the outside was a 3-car garage, so that's pretty deep. But I love open floor plan. Open floor plans is by far what I found out to be the best for most families, because most people like to entertain, like to have family, and they have friends over. So I like how they have this long sink and the countertop. So if you're someone who likes to meal prep, if you're someone who likes to give opportunity for friends and family members to come over, you can have, right now they have 4 stools, you maybe can have more than that. And then this long dining room table, center right in the middle. Be honest with you, most people they like this. Some people don't, they like to have the dedicated area. And if that is the case, that's fine. They do have some other plans, so that's when we reach out and we talk about that. If you see things you don't like, it's always important that I know that when you reach out. The cool thing about this, that I think about just this different layout is, you have people who sometimes, occasionally, either you're moving here for work, but this is not far from Texas A&M. So if you're someone who say, hey, I want to find homes and houses for my college student that's coming here, don't sleep on these opportunities in these floor plans. But you can see the good openness of it, family, hang out, and this is where we want to watch the game, right? So let's go ahead and go inside of our 2 bedrooms. This here, you have an extra closet, and you know what? I did miss the opportunity to see this. We have our washrooms. If you think about it, this here is going to be your garage, and so that here is going to be your washroom. So real close to the garage, and I always think about putting your groceries on the countertop. It makes it a smooth transition. So that, because this is generally our washroom, but you have your full bathroom, and then we have our first room sets. Now, this is good when you have kids. This is 2 twins size beds, and they have their own room, have their own corner. I love this this layout. Maybe somebody who will be a designer can reach out and say, hey, Jabari, well, if you ever have any rooms that need some designing, or just need maybe some AI fitting, just like to let the houses look a little bit more feel, that'd be great. But that's that. And then this is the second room. Now this can be your guest room, right? This can consider to be, it can be that. This is a fuller size bed that's in here. From there, let's take a look inside. And so we'll come back out in the backyard. Here, before we go in our main room, you have another extra closet. So those who have lots of coats, just so you know, you won't really need them in Texas. You may need them for maybe 2 months, but if you are coming from somewhere that it is cold, I'll warn you, humidity is going to confuse you. So here is the main bedroom. I like the ceilings, good high, about 10 feet ceilings here. And then you're gonna go inside of here, like the tile flooring. You have good carpeted areas where you can be able to, expand the rest of your wardrobe. And if you get rid of your coats, then you probably will say, hey, I don't need them as much. Now this has a walk-in shower. Now, this is a pretty deep shower. I didn't even see this built in. Put your soap pad. Now, I love these countertops. I think, one thing I've realized that they have good cabinetry selections and options that they pick from, environment safe. So Stylecraft does a good job at making sure they stand out in that way. And let's go to the backyard, getting the idea. Now, one of the things I will tell you, if you're newer to buying a home, for one, this is a corner lot. Corner lots is always going to be your best friend. So you're always going to get more yardage. So if you're someone who really, really care about that, make sure to keep that in mind when it comes to the backyard and you need it for your furry friends or maybe family, or maybe you're just someone who like to barbecue. I like that because you have this covered patio space, and maybe at the end of a hard work day, you decide, hey, I want to plug up my music. Now this one here, you'll see it generally have like little gas inserts for kitchens. So once again, if that's something that you say, hey, that's really what I'm looking for, and I want to make sure that's the option we can build. And sometimes we can include that in a deal, or we can make sure we find good bills for you that's going to meet that requirement. Okay, this here is like I say, a very quiet town, and you get all this for generally, and you can come and take a look at, gonna have one entry on this. The cool thing about this was about 1,800 square foot home. Now, if you're someone who don't have a family or you have a smaller family, I think this is a great upgrade as far as house when it comes to family size. Next home we're gonna look at is more of a more efficient size home. If you're someone who, hey, maybe a bachelor, or you're someone who just stays by yourself, you don't need much, you just need to get here, and maybe you just want to get to work. Maybe you want to work from home as well. So we'll take a look at this plan, and then we'll talk more about the second phase that they have in this neighborhood, because I think people are going to start relocating here as is right now, 2026. In 2026, if you're looking to be part of that TerraFab community or workplace, you may start working or relocating, construction, whatever that may be at the end of this year. So we'll take a look at some things that have coming, so you can also be aware. And then I'll give my prediction on some of the things that I think the housing market and opportunity is going to happen over time, because as you know, legacy real estate, we always want to impact your legacy, so I'm gonna hit on that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the second home, and then we'll wrap up talking a little bit more my cool projections, and let you see the extra plans that are going to exist here in this neighborhood. Okay, so we're at the 1,400 square foot home, and the beautiful thing, as I look over here, we can be able to see they have their second phase that they will start building. So if you're liking these plans or you getting a good idea of these plans, just know that it's probably a good, I would say 10 to 20 houses that can be able to fit over there in that neighborhood as well. And we still have some lots available over here also. This plan is going to give you a good idea. If you're that person that's wanting to, just get something real cost effective for you right now, this is going to be in that lower 200 range. So 3 bedroom, 2 bath. Let's go take a look at it. Now, I love the colors. I love the hardy board combination. Love the color of this door. So right when you walk in, you'll have, this is generally your dining room area. So we talked about this in the first one on, sometimes they have a section that's specifically for your dining room area. So you have this here that's separated from the rest of the house. And then as we walk inside of here, you can have the kitchen. Now, kitchen, real efficient size kitchen, bigger than most homes. When you're thinking about, this is where my refrigerator is gonna go, got my stove, I have my microwave, just real straight to the point. Now, I'll show you this before we go any further. We have our washroom, and then you have your 2-car garage. So, 2-car garage, can fit your car comfortably, can fit a truck in here as well. Then you have your water heater and your sprinkler system. So you need your sprinkler system here in the state of Texas. You don't want to let your ground get too dry. So you're gonna always see irrigation is very important here. Let's take a look at the living room, and we'll take a look at these bedrooms, and then we'll look at the other rooms. This here, but so you can see real efficient size, most likely. This is where you're gonna put your couch and your seating. So probably your love seat will go over here, and then you have your sofa that's going on this side, and then you can be able to put some stool here. Now, if that you just disagree with what I said, remember, my job is to be able to find you a good fit. You can design it, and of course, if that's your thing, then let me know. How would you do this area? Okay, and then here you have a extra couch. Extra closet there, and then as you go inside of here, you have your main bedroom. Still decent size, but as we go inside of here, love the carpet. And one of the things I was just thinking about, you can take a look at this closet. One of the things I was thinking about is we had someone come in while we were shooting, and they were asking, can we add a fireplace? Now, most of the time, if you want to have a fireplace in some of these homes, that can happen, but you have to make sure you catch it in a certain time frame. So think about this. If you're someone that said, hey, I want to make sure I find a home that's going to be customized to what I like, but I need to stay within a certain range, that is important, because these homes are, as I said, semi-custom. So you cannot make a lot of adjustments, or it's just gonna be cost effective. They just probably won't be able to do it. But if you're that person that say, hey, I can go a little bit more if I can get a couple more things, then make sure you reach out, because that's important for me to know, and our team to answer questions that's gonna be more efficient for your family and for your setup in your home. So let's go take a look at the backyard, and we'll go from there. Back patio. So this here, I will say, is someone who's probably not gonna be outside as much. As you can see, that back porch is just this little concreted area. I think this is probably the biggest downfall, but it's okay for, once again, if you're someone who say, hey, I won't use my home, or I won't be here as much, I probably won't use this backyard as much. Occasionally you get that, someone who says, hey, it's not a big need for me. More so just make sure I have something, make sure I'm putting, this is a rental place as well. These are great houses that you can be able to rent out over time. But you can see the backyard, very big space. I love it because it's just a good mixture for you to be able to see. One side, you're always gonna have your gate open, and I just like the color outlook. Now, so if you're looking to relocate, so I said at the end that we was going to talk a little bit about SpaceX, and so we're over here close to getting reserved because they have a couple of warnings to make sure that you can't record, so we decide to not record on their property. However, there's a thing that you need to know. Right now, SpaceX haven't even signed anything. So at the recording of this video, they just got approved to say that they are going to allow for movement to come to the Grimes County. And a few things that we know is that this is going to give great opportunity for jobs. They have said this, that they've made an agreement with Grimes County so that they can be able to collect a certain amount of taxes and start right in 2026. So here's the chances that you're moving here or relocating here because you're a part of that. You want to be able to capitalize on the investment side of being in a form of ownership in this county. So if that's you and you want to take advantage of that opportunity, make sure you reach out to us and that we can be able to book a time so we can talk more about your desires on getting a home in the Bryan-College Station area. And I look forward to seeing you. And as always, as we say, your legacy begins when your excuse is in. Look forward to talking to you soon.